Hello everybody, welcome back. Tasfai here. In our previous video, we have seen access modifiers in Java. We have seen how they are used and how important they are. In this video, we're going to see what are called non-access modifiers. So they are keywords, very important keywords, but they don't relate to access modifications. But they are used to find variables, for example. So one of such is abstract. The abstract non-access modifier tells about the class, if the class is abstract. So the abstract modifier is used when we don't want to create a class two times, for example. If, for example, we are programming about human beings and we have one class about human being, and we said that we created that one class saying human beings. So we don't have to create another human being class. The class is, we'll see more about this. Class is a blueprint, the idea for an object. So if you have one class for human being, there is no another human being. The only thing we do is we make that class abstract, and then we can create an instance of that, for example, or take methods that are in this abstract class, so we can use it that way. Okay, that's abstract. Final is another non-access code. We'll see some of them in a code in a bit. So final is applicable to either variable or method or to class as well. So final is, we don't define, if you define something as final, we don't define it anywhere. That is to create to prevent redefinition of, for example, overriding for a method. For example, if you have made a class a method as a final, the nowhere in the code we can't override, we can't create another instance of that as overriding it. So overriding here means as a concept, like, for example, if you have a method with two variables, we can also create a method with another one variable or three variable, or even without a variable. So these are called overriding, when we have the same method calling but with different variable. If you make it final, this will not be allowed for a method to be overridden. Static is another keyword for a non-access modifier. So static also is used when a constant variable or a method is defined the same for every class we have. If you make it static, that variable is just being called, not overridden, not changed. So that it's just like constant. If you make it static for a variable, we're not allowed to change in some place, in some other class. So that's what it means. The other one is synchronized. Synchronization is used when we have, for example, multiple threads, multiple code running to access, for example, a resource like a printer. Let's say printer. So we write a code, two, three codes to access to a printer, or access to a playing media, for example. So during that time, we use synchronized, so that the code one after the other on a given time access that resource. So this is, as you can see, high level coding, so but it's good to know the concept. The other one is transient. Transient is used when, for example, we want to use a very strict security enabled code, like for example for password or for a protected data area. So if we try to prevent access to that, we make it transient, and then the access for that is and limited for that. And also the reason why is that if you make a variable, for example transient, it never save the value. It just run, get the value, and then never have the copy for that. That's all. So it's not keeping the value we insert, but it's give back to us and then never save. It doesn't have the capacity to save. Okay, let's see one class to use at least some of this. Let's create let's say one. I'm gonna create let's create a student class. Okay, you can use age or name for that. So class, let's make it a student. Okay, and I'm gonna finish with this. So this is a class. In this class we're gonna have age, for example, age, and age age equals to, let's make it 15. Okay, in this class we're gonna have our main method. I should have enabled it. Public static void main string argus, like this. So in here I'm going to define, this is a student class. So in this class we can create an instance of a student many times. If we have 10 students, we can create 10 students. If you have 20 students, we can create 20 students. So this is how we create. So creating the class, student class, student. So we're gonna student one. So we use a new keyword to create new student for that student. This is a class. We call that class. Okay, and that is 15 at the top, and then here though we make student one, we create age for this student, and then make it now not 15 but we make 16. Okay, and from there we can print the student system dot out dot print line let's make this student age of student one s1 equals it should be in quotation mark, sorry, equals plus age. Okay, this is no different with our previous s1. Sorry, it should have access to that. So this is not new because we were doing this. So it takes 16, yeah. So there's no issue here. There's no access issue here. If we make this final, now as you can see, this edge is no more accessible to this code because this is made final. We should always use that edge. We can't create that. That is a problem with the final. So that's why we use final as a final as could be as a control as well. So then we can't use it final. But if you make it static, no problem with static, because static is accessible from other class. This is another class. But if we recreate a new student with, let's say, student, we're going to change that to dot age equals, let's say, 20. And if we make that one final again, we can't access the same way like we did before. So it's we are not allowed to access this with final on. Even with without any of the modifications, we are not allowed to create a student here, because can't refer to a student class if it is not too static to access it. If it is outside the method, a class, sorry, we should be able to either use it without any access modification, or if we have to access outside the other class, we have to be able to modify it to static, and then we will be able to print that. And I hope that's helpful, and we will see more of this in advanced course. Thank you for being with me. I'm going to end up this here, and I'll see you in the next section. Bye for now.